Okay, here's some self-reflection for you uh, in living color. Have I become the villain? Is that sort of what's being I project is nothing but negativity and beratement? What's the line from Batman? Like, what is it? The Dark Knight, I think, where Harvey Dent, who is also Two Face, says either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Do I need to die quickly? I have no intentions of doing that. I've had some very interesting conversations over the last week with people within this space who have certainly said as much, which is fine. I'm not here to like sort of apologize. That's the best thing about my life is from about the age of 30 on, I learned the lesson, the hard lesson that you need to speak the truth. What is, I don't like your truth, but certainly from what I see is the truth. And words matter, meanings have meanings. And we've certainly seen in the last decade or so, those things all become twisted and jumbled up into nobody knows what the hell anybody's talking about anymore. And my brashness our brash approach to it certainly rubs lots of people the wrong way. And that's fine. I am not here. I'm not doing this to please anybody but myself. But I will say this I have sat at the precipice, not stood, but sat and contemplated what would happen if I sort of took that leap. Those precipices have absolutely been complete and total financial disaster. The absolute abandonment and abolishment of any faith or spirituality, and the complete and total mental breakdown of who I am. And my story doesn't matter to you, it matters to me, but everybody goes through hard and difficult times. And those moments have been galvanizing experiences for me that I know who I am. I know what works for me, if you want me to put that disclaimer on it. And people that live sort of in the fantasy world of everybody can do the job, everybody is equal, that is not true. There are people that are better at a great many things than I am. And I'm better at some things than others. That's the reality of the world that we live in. And when we decide that we're unable to stand up for those things and just sort of become a hodgepodge of the big tent, if you will, I think it loses credibility. I know. I know it loses credibility. And as stated, these are my thoughts, not yours. And, you know, there's a couple guys that'll listen to this and go, oh, this is directed specifically at me. And that might be true. Because every conversation that I have with anybody, I take a minute and think about it and figure out how and if it should affect my life, if it should change my opinion. And sometimes it does, and most times it certainly adds a little salt to what's going on, but you know, it is what it is. And so my challenge to everyone, myself included, is to do better, to be better, and to absolutely be your best self in every circumstance that you find yourself in, which is a great many circumstances. You can go look at my bio. I'm a father of 5. That is the most difficult thing I have ever done in my life, and the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. The barn, the ranch, the chickens, the bees, the goats, all the rest of it certainly add lots of zest and color and wonderful things to my life. Plumbing and the trade has just been so wonderful to me. And I wish that everybody would get on board and do it. And the only thing that I am critical of is when people either straight up lie about who they are or twist the truth in such a way that they position themselves to be uh, to be the facade of what they are. They say one thing and do another. You know that, and if that comes across as a villain, then I'm the villain. Anyway, it's strange to me, and it's been like 5 or 6 of those conversations. Which I'll say this: every single one of those conversations was initiated by others. They came to me and said, "Listen, Bob, I love what you're doing. I agree with what you're doing. I understand what you're saying." And then when we get into the weeds and say, "Sure, let's have a conversation about it," it becomes, "I am not prepared to." Um, and I'll quote what he said, what this particular individual says. I'm not prepared to. I'm not going to quote denigrate other people. I'm like, how am I denigrating people by calling people to do better when you're the one that came to me upset about it? It's a weird world, man. And almost without fail, I've been quoted 4 or 5 Bible verses this week. You call yourself Christian? I absolutely am a Christian, and what that means to me is standing up for what you believe, um, being resolute in your motives and actions and words and all the rest of it. Anyway, I've gone on far too long. I am, in many people's eyes, the villain, and that is not going to change my perspective, the way I handle things. I'm here for it all, and I will send the invitation out again and again. Anyone at any time, anywhere, if you want to have a conversation about this stuff, about anything that's in the trade, in the world, I'll even throw in religion. You want to talk about religion? Let's talk about it and see where it goes. That is the only way that anything ever gets better, is when we're willing to confront difficult things, difficult people, um, and the problems that surround us. If we shun from those fights, then we continue to dilute and weaken ourselves for the sake of others. I will close with my hateful comment, arrogant comment. My thoughts, not yours. That's it.